Hey, it's the Empire, Jukebox Empire, back to boxing. Now, man, you guys see the footage from my boy Andy Ruiz, man. The phenom, the first heavyweight Mexican champion in boxing history. The guy who stopped the undefeated, dominant, unified champion, Anthony Joshua, man. Stopped him. And what was the first punch that hit Anthony Joshua? It was a left hook. That was the first punch that hit Anthony Joshua. It hit him so hard, so suddenly, so fast. At the end of the round, Joshua was like, what happened? What hit me? He didn't know what happened. You watch that fight with Anthony Joshua, Andy Ruiz won. And Anthony Joshua was shocked. He didn't even know what hit him. He's like, what hit me? What hit me? And so Andy Ruiz is over here training with resistance bands. And understand, these elite level fighters, they're training the most effective way in boxing. And the most effective way in boxing, science has shown that resistance bands are the best way to develop muscles, and because it always engages your muscles all the way stretched out and all the way in. It's always going to be engaged. There's never a rest moment. Furthermore, you're always activating those muscles when you're throwing that punch or whatever you're working on. You're using resistance bands for whatever muscle you're working on. It's always going to be engaged, right? So that's a really big deal. This is high class. This is scientific, the way Andy Ruiz is approaching the game of boxing and the way he's training. Not only that, I find it shocking that not only was he throwing left hooks, but he was throwing left hooks southpaw. You watch that, it's footage. He's in a southpaw stance. If you're a noob here and you don't know what southpaw is, that basically means Andy Ruiz is naturally a right-handed fighter. But when you're southpaw, your stance is switched, so your jab hand is your power hand. So your power hand is his jab hand now. So not only does he want to hit you with a left hook, but he wants to hit it in a power stance. So it's going to be more effective. It's going to be harder. It's going to do more. It might actually knock you out, because that shot that hit AJ, that could put him asleep if he was southpaw. If Andy Ruiz is southpaw and you hit him with that left hook, it could have stopped Anthony Joshua, because it had more momentum, right? You can generate more momentum as a southpaw with the left hook than you can an orthodox fighter with the left hook. It's facts. Now, that being said, man, Andy Ruiz is doing things differently. It looks like he might, who knows? He might fight southpaw in one of these fights. He might do it. We don't know. All I know is usually fighters, the way they train is the way they fight. So if you're implementing things in training and you're fighting southpaw, why are you doing that? In my opinion, you're only doing that is because maybe you want to try something new in a fight. And Andy Ruiz, he's fast enough in the ring to where if he goes southpaw, he'll be extremely dangerous because he already knows angles, right? Andy Ruiz is already a short fighter in the heavyweight division. He's already short. So he knows angles. He's always getting past people's jabs and straight rights. He's already doing that. But when you're southpaw, things completely change. You really don't have to get past the jab or straight right. It's more about angles. And Andy Ruiz is fast enough with his hands and fast enough just moving. He's actually great at cutting the ring off to create angles to actually land the punches, right? He's already faster than you, and he has good head movement. Sometimes if you actually watch Andy Ruiz move, he'll do subtle things to get past your jab. He wouldn't do anything crazy. He'll just do a head bob, left right really quick, like a Tyson move, like a really quick twitch move to get past your jab. It's nothing phenomenal. He uses more head movement than foot movement to dodge your punch. It's really crazy stuff, man. You actually watch him fight, he's really an advanced fighter. People don't give him enough credit, man. People do not give him enough credit. But this basically can be a stylistic nightmare for any heavyweight right now, because if Andy Ruiz decides to go southpaw, that's game over for most of these heavyweights right now. The guys are getting in shape. He's in better shape I've ever seen him in. He's getting faster. I've seen him training underwater. I talked about that in his video. And the thing is, he's only getting better, stronger, faster, more intelligent, and he's trying new things. He's not afraid to try new things. He's already switched trainers. I think he's training with Canelo's team right now, right? Dropped his old trainer. He's not afraid to try new things. He's already been at the peak of the sport. He did that. Not his trainer. He did that. Andy Ruiz has always been naturally blessed. Naturally best with his hands, right? He's been lacking as far as being disciplined, right? And in my opinion, if you have a coach who doesn't really push you to the edge and doesn't push you to stay in shape and push you to those things, he's not doing his job, You know, a lot of people say that Andy Ruiz, he ate his way up and he was, partying after the Anthony Joshua fight. That's his trainer's job to make sure this guy gets in his P's and Q's. It's facts, man. If I was paying someone to care for my well-being in a professional level, at some point, my coach should put pressure on me to stay in shape and to keep focused, have that tunnel vision. That's the point of having them. And say, hey, man, usually when people, every round, 3-minute rounds, you're throwing punches. Usually people count your punches, how many punches you're throwing around. Make sure you keep a certain pace. Okay, how many punches are you throwing around? Are you throwing 350 punches around with gloves on? Okay, keep that same pace. If you're going 300 and you can't go past 350 like you used to, well, you're not at your peak anymore. There's something wrong. You need to stop eating what you're eating. You need to train harder. Some things like that. Sometimes people need to push these fighters. And Andy Ruiz, with the Anthony Joshua, Andy Ruiz 2 fight, he let himself go sloppy, and it's mostly his coach's fault because he's getting paid a percentage of Andy Ruiz's purse. And when Andy Ruiz gets paid, 10 million, and this guy gets 20% of his purse, 15% of his purse, and this guy sitting over there doing, I couldn't really tell Andy Ruiz what to do. No, you could have did what you could have did, but you didn't do it. So Andy Ruiz, but he's looking good though, man. He's looking good. He's got a new trainer. He's taking it more seriously because he wants to stay in sport boxing. He wants to stay relevant, and that's what I see him doing, man. Going southpaw, throwing punches with the resistance band. He's going hard. Anyway, man, I thought I'd talk about it though. Let me know how you guys feel about it though. Like, comment, subscribe. This is the Empire. Geoboxing Empire, bitch.